Hi there, welcome back to my channel, and this is the third part of the recipe album that I'm making. So in the first two parts I showed you the pages and the booklets that I'm making for the album, and in this part I'm going to start on the cover. And I've kind of decided that I am not going to do 3 pages like I said in the first tutorial, but I'm only doing 2 pages, but we'll use all 3 booklets because I don't want this to be a really chunky album. And I'm already planning on giving them a little bit of more space in between the pages so we can use some embellishment and fill it up. So that's why I've brought it back to 2 pages, but I will use all 3 booklets. So I've got my chipboard to size, I've got my paper to wrap it, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to talk you through every single detail of making the cover. I have lots of tutorials on wrapping covers, etc. on my channel, so I can link one on top if you need more detailed instructions for that. But I actually want to talk to you a little bit about my plans for the upcoming year while I'm doing this. So combining 2 pieces of cardstock to wrap it, and I'm going to make a line 1 inch from the bottom. And I'm not able to start 1 inch from the side because then my overlapping of cardstock is going to be in a really inconvenient place. So I'm going to start with placing the spine a little on that overlapping. So that's a little bit different than what I normally do, but otherwise I'm doing exactly the same thing. So basically next year is going to be a really exciting year for me personally and my family, because we got this really amazing opportunity to pack up our stuff and move again. Maybe a lot of you know this. I think it's quite obvious that English is not my first language, but I'm Dutch, and I'm living in Canada now for 3.5 years with my husband and my 3 kids. 2 of them are born in Canada and 1 is born in the Netherlands, but because of my husband's job 3.5 years ago we moved to Canada. We got a pretty amazing opportunity, and yeah, we did that, and that's been really amazing time and experience for us. But then this year, a couple of months ago, I think it was in September or something, the opportunity came to do what we have been doing in Canada one more time, but somewhere else in the world, and that is all the way in Australia, Melbourne, Australia. And quite honest, Australia has been something that has been in my head since I was a teenager. I think, I'm not sure when it exactly started or how or why. I just know that it is, and it's been there for a really long time. Like, something in me says Australia is the place where I need to be and where I can be really happy. And like I said, I don't know why, and I'm also not sure if we are going to stay there forever, but at least we're going to stay there for a couple of years. So that made me really happy that that opportunity came. And of course I wasn't like, oh, do you want to do it? Because then you're able to do it. You just have to apply for the job and go through the whole process. And my husband first said, well, I don't know, is this something that we want to put 3 young kids through the whole journey towards Australia? And of course that is something that you really have to think about, but I strongly felt like if I don't try this now, if we don't jump onto it and at least try it, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. So and of course everybody has to be in it, right? It's not just because I say I want to do it, it's gonna happen. It's not just me in this family, of course, but so we talked about it a lot, and eventually we decided to go for it, to try it, and that worked out. So in the beginning of December, I think, we got the news that we were how do you say that, selected. We were allowed to go there, and of course there's a long process that's going to that's going to be before we actually are leaving. So it's not like we are leaving next month. It's going to take about half a year, we are thinking right now. We're not sure yet. Okay, I have quite some space here on the side, so I'm going to cut that down, and let me mark that first. So that is basically what is going to happen for us in 2022. Very exciting. But we are moving across the world from Canada to Australia, Melbourne, Australia. So for me personally, very exciting, but also a little bit scary for several reasons. Okay, let me cut that down. Yeah, for several reasons, also very scary, of course, because I've been working on something here since I moved to Canada, building on this, and it's going to be, I have to find everything all over again when I'm in Australia, like where do I get my products, am I able to get everything? So I have to do some research there, but also, of course, I have to pack up my stuff at some point, and it has to be shipped across the world. And then I don't know how long it's going to take before I have my stuff back. So of course I'm thinking about how can I, well, at least maybe once I'm in Australia I can probably buy some stuff and then at least start working on something. But I'm not sure how long am I not being able to make projects, make videos for my channel and for my Etsy shop. I'm not sure. That's all big question mark there. So, and working ahead so I can so I have videos to just overlap that time. That's very difficult for me to do because my filming time is so minimal basically. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. But yeah, basically I will be out of the running for a period of time. So yeah, we'll see how I'm going to do that. But as long as I can, I will continue. Of course, I have a long list of projects that I want to make. I have enough collections lying around that I want to work with. So hopefully I can keep going for a few months. But that also made me decide to take a few steps back. Like I was doing some design team work for Knitwit Collections, and I've told them, look, I'm sorry, for now I'm just not able to continue with that. Not because I don't like their collections or anything, it has nothing to do with them. I truly enjoyed working with their collections, but I just don't have the time. It's really hard to wrap my head around everything, especially when we were in that time where we knew we were planning on it, but it was very unsure what was going to happen. I really had a hard time wrapping my head around everything, and I still have that, because now we don't know what the timelines are going to be exactly. It's really depending on other people and on other things like the paperwork and all that. You don't know how long exactly that's going to take. It's yeah, you know, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, but yeah, I'm also not able to empty my house before I know what or when, right? So you're also waiting a lot. That's really hard. But I just noticed that I am way less organized with things because I'm just so overwhelmed in my head, basically. So that's why I decided to take a few steps back, because I was going back and forth in several projects. Like I was working on a larger project for either Etsy or YouTube, and then I would have to put that to the side because I had to make a project for Knitwit, and then I had to make a project for my Facebook group. So it was a little bit, normally I didn't mind that sort of stuff, but for now that was getting a little bit too much. So I've decided to put a pause on those things so I can just create with an empty mind. I'm not sure how to say it, but I want it to be my escape, basically, and not where I feel like, oh, this is also something that I have to do. within a certain time frame, right? I want it to be my escape point, my relaxation point basically. And then I don't mind filming it, so I will still have my videos for YouTube, of course, but it's just going to be a little less frequent, I guess. So yeah, as long as I'm able to, I will get projects out, but maybe not as much as I have been doing this last year. But that is basically a little bit that is going on right now. So we just had Christmas Day, which was another stress point. I'm not sure, maybe I'm the only one, but I find Christmas is, of course, a time to enjoy, but I also feel a lot of pressure and stress around that time of year. You want to have everything organized perfectly and all the shopping that you have to do. And it's a lot, but I'm glad we have that behind us now. Although I did really enjoy our Christmas Day. It was just my husband and the kids, but still, I think we did a really good job on having a nice fun day together. So now that's behind us, and we really started on our paperwork. We really have to collect a lot of things. Now we are kind of lucky, I guess, that we have the experience with moving from the Netherlands to Canada, and we kind of know what we need to do, but also we have a lot of the documents already somewhere. And of course you have to renew some stuff, right? Because you cannot, there are documents that are only, when you get them, they are only valid for like 6 months or something. So you're not able to use that all, but at least we know where to go to get them. So that made it all a little bit quicker and easier, I guess, but we still have to do a few stuff for that, but then we can get that apply going, and then it's up to, yeah, I guess the Australian government when we have to wait for. And I guess once that is done, we can get a more clear timeline, but there is a lot that we have to do here, like sell our house, sell our car, clean the house, declutter the house, basically. We did that when we moved to Canada as well, but it's amazing how much stuff you collect in a quite short time frame, especially when you're crafting. I think my stuff is the worst, but yep, a lot of work ahead basically. But it's also good to do that sort of stuff every once in a while, just to get rid of the stuff you basically don't really need, I guess. Okay, so that one is folded over. Let's do the other side. But yeah, really exciting for us, of course. So what I'm thinking of doing as well is, but I really have to go through it. Of course, I have a lot of albums hanging around. And I think I'm going to try to sell a few of the projects, because I don't think I want to bring them with me, all of them. There are some that I don't think I can say goodbye to, but I don't think I can bring them with me, all of them. So I think I'm going to try to put some up for sale on Etsy, and I will probably do a video to let people know that they are up for sale. And yeah, the rest I'll have to see. I think I'm going to try to use up as much stuff as I can. Because I don't know, I even have to look into what I'm allowed to import, basically. How do you say that? To put in the shipping container, right? I'm not sure if everything is allowed. So I'll have to see. A lot of work ahead, like I said. And it's going to be difficult because I moved over the summer, like an hour away from our rental house to house that we bought, so we didn't live here for very long. But I already found that very scary with all my supplies and all my stuff to move that. I basically said I just going to pack it up myself and I'm going to put it in the car myself and I will drive it there myself. That didn't happen eventually, but some things I did. But now it has to go in a shipping container and has to be shipped overseas, literally, for I don't know how long. So that makes me a little bit nervous. So I'll have to be, that's why I'm thinking like maybe I don't want to bring everything. But there are some albums that I'm just not able to say goodbye to, that I'm really going to try my best to protect them and just ship them basically, because I'm also not able to bring them along in the airplane or something, right? So I guess I just have to, and then just pray when I open it up that it didn't got damaged too much. Because let me tell you, when we got stuff from the Netherlands here, not everything came in a very good condition. Yeah, it's just part of the risk, I guess. But we'll see, we'll see. Okay, so we're almost there. I'm going to burnish this. And the other side. And then I can work on the binding. And then I still have to think about what it is exactly that I want to do on the inside covers. I have a little bit of an idea, but okay. So there we have it. The cover is wrapped. Nice. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. I have my piece for the binding right here. I've scored it according to the cutting guide, and I've also put some pencil marks that I also put in the cutting guide. They are really hard to see, but I have some pencil marks there. The measurements for that are in the cutting guide. You do that on both sides, top and bottom, on the dented side. And now I'm going to place it towards the bumpy side. And I have a large space here, and then I have space 1, space 2, and then we have a gusset, and then one more time space 1 and a space 2. So I do know light is very difficult today, but this is what I have. And then I'm going to place my tape on the spaces 1. And these are 7/8 of an inch spaces, so I think I can do 2 strips of 3/8 inch tape on there. Just stay in between your score lines. So I'm doing this on the bumpy side of the piece. Let me see if I'm right. Yeah, that fits perfectly. Bump it up against each other. So that's the first one, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. So only 2 hinges, and I gave them a 3/4 inch space between them. And then I did a 2 inch spine. So that would give the pages a 5/8 inch space between the page and the front or the back cover. So we have some play area there as well, because of those booklets that are lying on top. Okay, so let's get rid of the tape. So now I'm going to fold on the score line that's in between space 1 and space 2. So fold towards that bumpy side. Just make sure that you line up on the edges. Give it a burnish. I will open it back up and remove my tape backing. Oh, come on. The point of this thing is a little bit curved and damaged, so that's not always cooperating as how I want it to. Okay, stick that on top of each other, and then I have a score line here. Only one score line is it that I can see there, and I'm going to pull back on it. And burnish that as well. And now I'm going to repeat that one more time. So I fold on the score line in between 1 and 2. Burnish that. Remove the tape. And stick it on top of each other. So now I have a little bit more score lines visible here, but I'm going to pull back on the first score line that I have from the folded edge that I've just created. So pull back on that one. And then this is the back side. We have a large space, the gusset is showing, and again a large space. Turn it back over. And now I have another score line here. I'm just going to pull back on that, and basically you're pulling back on your hinge. So this is one hinge, and we are going to do the same thing on the other hinge. So one more score line that we need to pull back on. And then we have our 2 hinges. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my tape close to the folded edge on both hinges. You do that on both sides of the hinge, and I can see my pencil marks. So you're going to stay close to the folded edge. Make sure you stay above your pencil mark. So I'm using 3/8 inch tape for that. If you use 1/2 inch tape, you might go over it. That's okay. Then when we are going to taper in a second, you are going to taper just under your tape. So I'm doing that on both sides of the hinge. Okay, once the tape is under, I'm going to give that again a good burnish. Burnish your score lines as well, because then you break down the fibers and your hinge will be functioning better. And now I'm going to taper. So I am getting my scissors, I'm picking it up on the hinge, and I have my pencil mark here. And like I said, if you use a wider tape and you go over the pencil mark, then you go just under the tape. Put your scissors at the pencil mark and cut with an angle towards the folded edge to taper your hinge. And you do that on both sides. So just put your scissors at the pencil mark and cut with an angle towards the folded edge. So when we slide our page on, it won't go any further than that pencil mark basically, when we slide it on nice and straight. And then because we have that extra space there, our pages are able to lie flat a little bit better. Especially with the gussets that we have on our pages. So this is prepared. Next up, I'm going to place a good amount of tape on the back side of my hinge, and I have some scrap pieces of what I've used for covering my chipboard. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to place this in the middle, and then I will fill up the edges. So it's a little long. I'm going to cut that down in a second. Let me see if I can fit this on here as well. I have to cut it down there. I'm just placing it here along the edge. So I'm going to fill this up with quite a lot of tape. Okay, again I'm going to give this a good burnish, because you really want to have this to have a really good stick. Get the cover back in so you can decide what you want to be the back and the front, but I'm saying that, but that's not important at this moment actually at all. So what is it that I want? What am I going to do? I want to mark the center. That's what I'm going to do, I guess. So I'm placing my ruler on the hinge, on the gusset area, and I'm basically marking where the center of the gusset area is. And I'm going to do that on top and bottom. So that's basically 3/8 of an inch from the score line of the hinge. I hope that all of that makes sense what I'm saying. And then I'm also marking the center of the spine, quite low on your spine. And then we can line up those marks when we place our hinge down. So that's 1 inch from the edge. So now when I'm placing this down, I can line up those marks that I've made to make it straight on here. And have these nicely lined up. Okay, so I'm going to combine it with some wet glue. I'm going to remove this middle part only and apply some wet glue on here. So having my eyes on my pencil mark, and I have about a 1/8 inch on top and bottom on space. So try to even out that space as well. Dropping it on here, and I'm going to burnish the gusset area onto my spine. And then I'm going to burnish on the spine only, on the outsides of my hinge. So now I'm going to carefully remove my tape backing here. At this moment I can choose to put some wet glue on here as well, but I think I don't really have time for it. It's not going to work in my favor. Now I'm burnishing my binding into the gusset area from the cover, and I have my finger underneath here because I don't want it to stick yet. So I hope that helps a little bit, and I'm going to lift up the cover while I'll burnish that cardstock in that gusset. Okay, make it flat again, and now from the gusset area I'm going to stick down the side. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but for that I'm going to turn it around. So here I also still have some tape backing. So again I'm going to hold it, my finger under there, and first burnish the cardstock a little bit in the gusset. And now carefully lift up my cover while I'm burnishing. Okay, make it flat again, and it really comes up now. That's a good thing. That means that we gave the cardstock the room and the opportunity to go in that gusset without applying too much stress on it. A good burnish for a good stick. And now one more time I'm really gonna go in that gusset area there. And then this is done. Yeah, of course we have to clean up the covers, but first I'm going to think about what am I going to do on that front and back inside cover. So this is done for now, and we will continue with working on our inside covers. Okay, for the inside cover, I have been doing some work on the outside cover because I wanted to use my scrap pieces of this pattern paper, but I still need to finish that up. But on the inside, I have two pieces for you. Those are your optional pieces in your cutting guide to clean up the inside covers. I like to do that. And then we are basically going to do the same thing on the front and back inside cover, only on the back inside cover I'm also going to attach my third booklet. So that requires one extra step in your construction. And my cover is not lying flat right now because I've wrapped the spine, and that still needs to, those fibers needs to break down a little bit. Over time when you use it that will get better, but for now it's a little bit stiff. So from one of these sheets I removed the tape backing, and I'm going to place that down on the inside back cover. I always combine this with a little bit of wet glue because I need some wiggle time basically. I am lining one piece up with my binding system. I think I'm going to make these pieces like can I still lift it up here? Yeah. Maybe I need to make it darn it, a little bit wider than what I did here, but I'm going to stay away a little bit further from the inside spine. That will work with my booklet there as well. Try to get that straight, of course. I lost a little bit of my wiggle time here, but I think I'm fine. It's a little bit on the short side to my liking, but my booklet will hide that there, and then on the front inside cover I just have to deal with it because I'm not going to cut a whole new piece. Okay, I'm going to turn my cover around. So before I do any other attachments, I really need to make sure that my cover is in the right orientation. Okay, so probably here I have to do the same thing. I stay away from the spine a little bit more, so I don't have a really big gap towards my outside. Oh, this is really crooked. These pieces are not straight, or my cover is not straight. I'm not sure what it is. Or I'm just being really crooked. That's also possible. Okay, that's better. Okay, so let's start on the back inside cover. So I'm going to attach my third booklet there first, and I say third, but I also mean the version 3 with the waterfall. That's the most bulky one, and I already have my tape here. So I'm going to attach this so this piece that I've just placed here is 3 3/4. So and my pocket is going to fit on there exactly. So what I am going to do is my 1/2 inch score line here, I'm going to place it just outside of that piece. So my pocket will fit on my piece without it interfering with the score line and the fold here. I hope that makes sense. Am I going to mark the center? I probably will. So that was 3/8 of an inch. A little pencil mark there. So I'm just placing it open this time. And just make sure that my score line is on the outside of the piece that I've just placed, that optional piece. And I totally did not center this, but okay. I'm on a roll here, obviously. Okay, so that is in place. Let me close my glue because I'm not needing it. Give that a burnish, and then this flap is in place here. See, I've placed it a little bit too high, but I'm not gonna worry about that. And then we have pieces S and a piece T in your cutting guide for a stacked pocket. And my scissors, it's a really big mess over there. So piece S is going to form your normal pocket. I'm going to miter. And I'm first going to place this one, and then I'm going to do the stacked pocket on top, because I need to make sure that it all fits with the booklet there as well. So I'm going to burnish this. And get this back in. Need a little bit more space there. Open the booklet up. So now I want this piece to go on the front cover, and you don't want to go on top of the score line there. So that's something that you really want to take in account. So with placing that score line just outside of that piece, that helped me there. Okay, so this is going to fit, and I'm going to place this one down first, and then I'm going to fold the booklet over it to see if we are still fine with space underneath it, basically. Okay, I know I'm probably out of frame with my pocket, but I'm removing the tape backings from the side, and I'm going to bring it up and stick the sides down. Okay, this is fine. Yep. Okay, then piece T is going to form a stack pocket. So you only have tape on the short sides, and we have been doing this a little bit more. Cut straight on the sides, just above that 1/2 inch score line, up to the intersection, and with an angle towards the intersection. And I will do the same thing here. So we have that, and then we fold on the side pieces only. And give that a burnish. and then give it a dry fit. I always like to give it a dry fit because now I can adjust something if I need to. Again, make sure that you don't go over your score line there, and I'm fine, so I can stick it down. Try to align it as best as I can and then burnish that. Okay, so this is the back inside cover, and basically on the front we're going to do the same thing, only without the booklet, so that's quicker. So again, one more piece S and piece T. Exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to prepare both of them and we can just continue to place them there. And you can also make this a single pocket if you want to. You can play with that, right? Okay, let's fold and burnish. Okay, so both pieces are prepared. Try to make some space here. Quickly give that a dry fit, but basically it fits on your front inside cover. Doesn't matter if you have this piece of cardstock on there or not. I would, if you don't have it, then you would line it up with the bottom of your hinge. At least that's what I prefer, to just have that line continue basically. And then even out the space on the sides. Okay, that's one, and then this one, dry fit quickly. Okay. And just slide it in. And it's on here. Okay, so nothing more here. I still have to do a little bit of decorating on my pages, and I want to finish that before I stick them on, because I know it's going to be hard to stick them on. But basically what you are going to do is you're going to find your tunnel pocket, and your tunnel pocket is this one. So I have something in here. Let's take that out. So I'm going to get my hand in here to open up the tunnel pocket right there. I know it's probably hard to see. This is going to be page 1. And you are going to slide that over your hinge. So I always start with an angle, and then as quick as I can I will go back to straight. And then you will go up to your pencil mark, or the start of your taper basically. So make sure that you're straight, and once you're straight you can stick it down. So I would remove the tape backing on one side, stick it down, and now I would go to the back side of the page, peel away the tape backing there and stick that one down as well. So that is how you attach your page on the hinge. So the gusset here can make it a little bit hard to see if you're straight, but here it's a little bit easier with the edge of the page. So just, yeah, keep your eye on that, and then once this one is stuck down, then that's fine on the other side. So yeah, I have to finish up some decorating, and of course decorating the inside covers and the outside cover, and then I will be back with a final project share of this recipe album. So I hope you enjoyed it. I want to say thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.